All right. Well, thank you for having us this evening. Obviously, after I came here the first time, I said, this is my kind of jam. Everyone was relaxed, having a beer, kicking back. I'd met a few people before, but this is perfect for the end of the day on a Thursday when we're grinding hard, working hard, and I really enjoyed coming together. And in fact, Brady, I met Brady, our high schooler, and he drove all the way down from Bonner to come hang out with me at my office for half a day. So that was a really cool experience. I got to know him. I was impressed and edified by his desire to learn, connect to people. He could speak to it better than I can. He wants to get involved in investments. And it's sort of what we want to talk about tonight. So we are, as you see there, from Willamette Valley Bank. And we'll go to the next one. Oh, we push the slide button for me.
Oh,
there we go.
sorry.
Sweet. And here's our team here tonight. We have our esteemed local Sandpoint lady, Becky Farmin, who's a very experienced superstar loan officer. And then Erika Anderson, right here. Go ahead, say something.
Well, I'm Erika, like you just said, and I am new to Willamette Valley Bank, but I've been doing real estate since I was 18. Right out of high school, I got my license, so I've learned all about investing, flips, everything. I actually used to teach some courses at the IREC Center, so I've known a lot about investing, and obviously, I think there's so much to learn with it, so coming to these is super helpful for me, but I just joined the lending side, so I'm learning that too, but being in real estate in the background, I've had a lot of knowledge with both sides, but I'm happy to be here and meet all of you, and yeah, we have a great community here. So, yeah.
Thank you, Erika, and I think that's exactly the point, and that's what I really loved about everyone who was here. It wasn't about what we can present, even though we're presenting. Really, at the end of the day, it's about meeting people, but listening to those people, right, and growing and working together. And that's freeing, right? Because then we can be ourselves, right? We don't have to schmooze someone or try to convince you to work with us. Rather, it's say, hey, this is who we are. You tell us who we are, and we're excited about the opportunity. And of course, my name is Lance Novotny, and I work in supporting the people we work with, the people we know, and the communities we know. Also working in development, and I am a former full-time lender, but no, I'm like a backup lender to all of our lenders. If they go on vacation or not available, you can call Lance on the emergency hotline, right? Whatnot. All right. So tonight, we are happy to announce that officially we have a new office in Sandpoint. We are on 5th Street. Woo! Becky's been holding fort, sort of remotely from Newport for a number of years. She was, of course, here. Now she moved back recently, but she was working from home. And we were kind of hoping that Starbucks, right, or the Farmin building was going to become free. But Becky found a great place there on 5th Avenue. It's the second level right above the Kokanee Coffee. And we're eventually getting like signs everywhere so you can figure out how to get in. Basically, it's the back side of the building. You go up. So I'm going to start off with sort of something maybe a little different. And that has a little bit of a story. So your fireside chat moment. So I'm a former high school teacher. I taught for a little over 20 years. My first year of teaching, I was really excited. You're fresh out of college, you've got your Latin conjugations down, you're talking about Julius Caesar, you think you're going to inspire the world to learn all the great things about Roman history and mythology and Latin, etc., right? So I get into my first 2 months, and one of the senior classes, juniors and seniors mixed, I was not connecting to the kids. In particular, there were 2 students and one who was really failing, struggling, F grade, disconnected from the class, emotionally not invested, etc. So what did I do? Well, a young greenhorn, I started ratcheting up, well, accountability. Let's give him a 0 for not turning in that homework assignment. Oh, he had a low quiz grade. Well, let's give him another quiz, right? To hold them to the limits, to hopefully inspire them through the punitive approach, right? So I remember one day passing him as he was leaving class, and I said his name, And he just looked at me with these sort of eyes, like it was almost like teary eyes, right? You know, and he couldn't respond. He was almost like holding his breath in, and then he just left. And I remember going home that night to my wife and saying, what can I do? What do I need to do? What do you guys think I should have done? I want to get your input. How might I have approached that student differently? What resources could I have used? How could I have made that situation better for the student? Throw at me, there's no wrong answer.
Ask them what's going on at home.
Yeah, excellent, exactly. Starting out with the famous C word that everybody in this room, right? You either run business or you're involved in a business. What do we have to do? What's that C word? Communicate, right? The basics, exactly. What was another virtue that you show by actually addressing the student? Right. Yes.
See him as a person.
Exactly. Respect them and see him as a person. Keep going. Throw me some more. Yes. Them you care, right? Is empathy going to win the day in our business every time? No, because we still have to close the deal or finish our, our budget plan, etc. But if you have empathy or you care for the people you work with, what are we building right there? Yeah, we're building a relationship, right? Keep throwing another one. What are?
Know what his goals were.
Okay.
Where are you going?
Yes. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Give him a plan, right? Take your knowledge, right? Help give him a plan. I love it. Keep going. Okay, new teacher. What should a new teacher do? Should they just go into class and go, heck, I got it all figured out?
So Lance, one of the challenges I think in education is that you teach one way, the teacher teaches
Yes.
another way, but kids learn different ways.
Yes.
Visual, kinesthetic, and what the other audio.
Yes.
So sometimes you're going to get 80% of them just fine, but there's 20% you might have to alter the way you teach in order to catch their other senses.
Exactly. So who's going to help a new Greenhorn teacher learn those skills or those other options? Yeah, mentor, other teachers. Keep going. That student's own what?
Parents.
Yeah, parents. Did I call the parents? No, I hadn't even called the parents. Et cetera, right? So in other words, I hadn't built a what around me. The support, right? I hadn't built a team to accomplish my goals. That is to help that student ultimately. So for us, right, for all of us in our business, and this is something that we really, I'm new to this community, right? Becky's from Sandpoint, but at least Willamette Bank as a whole, right, really needs to know Sandpoint and get to know the people here, right? But how can we connect to you, right? It isn't just that we're a team. We want to become team members with you, but also help you find ways to build teams and connections. So for example, right, we want to get to know you, your business, and the community, and not just, here's the thing is, right, this is a slideshow presentation, right? It all looks good, it all looks slick. So I want to do is make sure that we're carrying that out, like with that student, that actually happens.
Does that start have a happy ending? Does that student take forever?
Master's degree doesn't use it.
So there we go. We'll get to that exactly. So that's number 4, by the way, right? I'm keeping track, right? It's like the notches on the belt, right? You know, one of those songs, right? Yeah. Well, I'll get to that. I'll get that for you then. Yes. So not only did that student eventually find his voice in that class, and he went on to college and became one of the more successful students in college I've ever taught or known. And then one day he came to me and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Novotny, man, thanks so much for caring, for loving, for finding a way to help me out, etc." But he asked me to marry him. And I wasn't even a minister or anything, right? So I had to go become a lay person in California, right? But I did. So I officiated his wedding, and he's a very dear friend. Okay, now I've got one notch. You're ahead. That's fantastic. Oh, so good. I love it. And actually, the gal that he married was one of my students too, but I didn't have to worry about her. But it was him. So, yes, exactly. So along those same lines, right? We just want to make sure that we're becoming actually part of this community, part of that student's life, part of your lives, right, in an authentic way. Meeting someone and spending time with them. It doesn't matter whether we do business with you as a mortgage lenders, right? We want to find a way to get to know you and help you. Go ahead, Erika. For example, we all know this, right? Hard work, communication, yada, 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 right? That's expected. We expect it ourselves. You should expect that. That just comes with the territory. But ways by which we want to build that teamwork emphasis and relationship is we are super intense because we know that if someone gives us business, right, how are we actually really helping you? Or what if it's just someone we're working with in the community is we want to build up your reputation. Whether it's just spreading good word because I know someone and I'm going to say something good about them or recommend them, or we want to do good by your clients to make sure your reputation grows. That's huge, right? If we don't take that seriously, then what effect is that teamwork and relationship if we're not building up your reputation? Obviously, we want to provide knowledge, information, and all sorts of things. For example, right, when Brady came to see me, he asked for an investor's contact number. I know someone on Coeur d'Alene, obviously many of you here too, who's young and looking to grow, right? Gave him that information. Brady's not going to be buying a home. Sorry, I'm picking on you, brother. But he's looking to grow himself, and maybe one thing I could help him out with is give him information and a contact. And that's literally something that we want to do for you. We want to grow so well in this community that we can maybe give you a contact or be there for something. And then obviously we want to help your clients become empowered, not just to close the loan. We want to help them become informed so they can really understand what they're doing and help build your sort of industry, because your clients are going to be able to understand and articulate and explain why that transaction went so well. And then finally too, this is great with Erika and I, right? We are free for the most part to be out there to support you and help you grow your business. We can do events. We can just give you support. It can be anything under the sun that as we get to know each other, hey, there's a way by which maybe we can help you, and we're not tethered to lending all the time, so we can do that. So I personally believe as a teacher, having come from a very altruistic, sort of very optimistic career, I was nervous about going into lending and working for a bank. My brother Steve, right, I knew he was an honest man. But when I checked out Willamette Valley Bank, this was important to me. Do we have those virtues, those values, that integrity, that teamwork that's real, or is it fake? And it felt real to me, and it's no surprise. So this is not just a statement to say, hey, we're at the top of the mountain. Becky Farmin is one of the top 1% of lenders in the nation. The nation. And she's from Newport / Sandpoint, right? From Sandpoint, right? The amount of volume is so different than, say, Seattle, Los Angeles, even Coeur d'Alene. So how is someone able to do that? Only because they have the values that build relationships, that build teamwork, that make things happen because they're real, right? Here, they're going to be sniffed out. We all know this. If you're fake and you're not authentic, it will change. Erica, go ahead. So therefore, Becky?
Okay. So last month, Lance had called me and said, you want to have a beer with Tyler, sorry.
Yeah.
I was like Trevor. Tyler and John for marketing, and I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing. And so I pulled into the parking lot, and it was just packed with cars. And I walked by this door, and I heard all these people, and I'm like, oh my God, like I hope that's not where I'm going, because I'm shy, right? So I walk in and I look at the tables and I don't see either of those three, and then I see Tyler walk out of this door, and I'm like, shoot, here I go. So I walk in here, not big in front of people, but I met several people, and when I left that day, I was like so impressed at this group and the connections, and we're all here to help each other and be a team, and so I just thought that was really cool. And then Lance had mentioned the next meeting was November 11th, and it's my husband's birthday. And I'm like, I can't go. And then all of a sudden Lance is like, you're talking. I'm like, so anyway, and my husband wanted to come tonight, but I'm like, yeah, I think I'd be too nervous with him. So what Lance is talking about, what I want to do is, I want you to know who I am. So every lender is going to say we have the best rates. Every lender is going to say, I got the best underwriting team ever, customer service, I'm there for you. But I want you to know me. So I was born and raised in Sandpoint, the old green Bonner General. I don't know if any of you know that, kind of dating myself. I went to Hope Elementary School and I graduated Clark Fork. I won't tell you the year, but we graduated class of 28, which I think was the largest class ever. I don't think that's ever been bigger. I don't know. My parents were very a part of this community. My dad passed away in 2005, but he was on the school board for over 20 years. He was on the State Board of Education. My mom is still very involved in the community. If you ever go to a funeral dinner, she's probably organized it. You've probably heard the Farmin name. So it's been around since the 1800s. I married a Farmin. So he's a hometown boy. So we're both from here. We lived in Newport the last 10 years. Absolutely everything we did was in Sandpoint. We have a cabin on Bottle Bay, so every weekend we're there. In the summer, we're at the ski hill every weekend. And then we were fortunate enough this summer, and it all happened very fast, because we knew we would retire here, because my mom's here, all of our brothers and sisters are here. Excuse me. And we knew we would retire here, but the perfect house came on the market. And my husband's a huge skier. He doesn't have to cross railroad tracks to get to the ski hill, and it happened that fast in this market. So super excited. We're back in Sandpoint. I moved my office effective November 1st into Sandpoint. If you're interested, I have on my phone actually Rob's and my very first ski pass from 1969 in Schweitzer. Cool. So it's kind of cool. So my main goal is, I'm in financing, so to help people maybe buy their first home, maybe refinance to lower their payment, maybe refinance, get cash out to build a shop, or maybe buy an investment property. Again, all loan officers that you talk to are going to tell you, I got the best rates, I got the best underwriting, I got the best marketing team, and I'm going to tell you that too, right? But what else that I do, that I feel I do really well, is I'm honest. If something doesn't feel right, doesn't work right, the numbers don't work for a client, I'm not going to force that on them. We're all here to make money, but my clients come first. So I talk things out. Even Lance was in my office today, and what was I saying? Honestly, I don't think that's the best option for you. So my clients, your clients, they come first. Teamwork. Again, this marketing thing I just think is amazing, because I'm about teamwork. If you come to me and you have a scenario and I can help you, even if I don't benefit from it, I'm all in, because your success is my success, and eventually maybe then you come back to me. So I'm all about teamwork. Banking hours. So I work for a bank, but I don't really have banking hours. I'm not an 8 to 5. Last year I think I was 6:30 to 9 o'clock every day, because I literally was doing everything I could for you and you and you, and trying to get everything done. So I always have my phone. If I go to the cabin on the weekend, I have my computer. So if a realtor needs a pre-qualification or something like that, then excuse me, I'm available. Support from the bank. Again, everyone probably says it, but Willamette Valley Bank is so supportive and it's such a team effort. It's just amazing. We have Lance and Erica who are there to help me, which we used to not have that. But if I go on vacation, I'm kind of the one, I go to Hawaii because it's 3 hours earlier, and I can get up at 8, which is 5 this time, and I try to adjust my hours. But now I have their support if I'm not available, that they can help me out. We get loans done. So we kind of have a motto, leave no loan behind. And with that, like, I have access to management, marketing, the president of the bank if I need to get something done. Thank you. So our teamwork is just amazing within the bank as well. And I think that's all. But I just kind of want you to get to know me. I'm local. I'm a real person. Not a big speaker, but.
Yeah, thanks, Becky.
Yeah. Thank you.
I thought Caitlin was going to call out water. Order of water is ready.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
That's good.
Becky, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how long have you been in the mortgage business?
So I started in 2002, and it was kind of I had a lender call me, and I said, nope, don't need it. Called me again. I said, nope, don't need it. They called me a third time, and I was like, okay, I at least have to go for an interview. So I was kind of a processor loan assistant from 2002 to 2013, and that's when I became a loan officer.
So that's awesome. So there are obviously some things you've done to get you to the top 1%. How hard is it to stay at that level and continue to offer the things that got you there? The old saying, dance with the people that brought you there, kind of thing.
I look through and sometimes I want to do a Facebook post, but I don't do it. But repeat clients is probably my number one thing. Referrals, I'm always reaching out to realtors, insurance agents, friends, and I don't chase the market a lot, but I do reach out to people through email and just remind them I'm here. And now we have Lance and Erica to help us kind of follow up that support.
Adding sort of, I'm a small peon in the lending world, right? When I started in 2017. But the second client that I closed a home on was this elderly Hispanic couple that had lived in California. And so we had an instant connection because I lived there. But they couldn't qualify right away. But we stuck together for 6 months. And they finally closed their loan and became dear friends. Every major holiday, I get a tile that the lady paints, right? I've gotten more deals from then than almost half of the amount of loans I've closed. Because they referred me to every person, and we talk and communicate all the time. Simple, right? And that's exactly, I know how Becky does it, because Becky helped me too in the beginning, and it's a beautiful thing, right, when it mushrooms like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Becky. We're not going to spend too much time because I know we've already taken a lot of your time, but I do want to just give you a quick glance. It's some of the products that they're not always outside the box, but they're always ones that are targeted towards specific audiences. And this is important because what it shows is that the bank, even at the corporate level, is trying to think how we can match our communities to make sure we're offering the needs. So as we step into Sandpoint, obviously construction, right, is got a big thing. We've finally taken a turn now that we're allowing construction loans outside the city. You need a little bit more down, but at least we're going to be we're offering that now and that opportunity. And we're going to continue to grow that and make that more serviceable to the area, etc. Obviously, we give the major loan types. Really cool though, this again is an adjustment to serve the community. Fannie and Freddie for conventional have not yet released their new limit, right? We decided to go with our investors knowing that it's going to go up, and we decided to make our conventional limit 625 ahead of the curve because there was such a need. So there are some other banks offering that, but we're definitely offering it, and at normal rates, not on origination fee. We do have a jumbo product right now, which also fills a need. Because when you have that 625 to the higher jumbos, that's kind of the people where you're trying to feel, they want to really stay, right, sort of in a market where they don't have the amount down for a regular jumbo, etc. So how do you match that client? Well, we do have a jumbo product now with 10.11% down that can go up to $1 million. So it fills that kind of gap need between 625 and $1 million. We also do really well with VA high balance, which is basically the jumbo in a sense for the VA.
Did you have a question?
Oh, sorry. Oh, Nick.
The conventional cap at 625, is that also for a cash out refi with Ben?
Yes.
It is, yeah. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, and then if it goes up again in the end of December, January, we'll go with the higher one, right? Because we think it might even be higher then. But we wanted to fill the gap. Thanks, Nick. Investment properties, obviously Becky is an expert at this. For those who are investors, right? And people and your clients are people trying to find ways to find money, not only through refis, but working with their investment properties, et cetera. So Becky's really an expert at that. And then of course our construction product that we're now offering in rural areas at a case-by-case basis for now, but at least we're growing there. We do offer commercial. It's still urban, meaning it has to be in a city, but we're pretty familiar with doing commercial now, as long as the building's in good shape and there's liquidity in the businesses that have been there or staying there. And then we have obviously the assistance programs. And we're starting to see, and Becky can speak more to this, we're starting to see some of our clients who are getting approved for Idaho Housing or Washington Bond actually being able to bid on homes in certain areas and getting into those homes. So maybe we'll continue to see that grow. And of course we do have a fund and fix, but our fund and fix is kind of a portfolio loan where basically it's like a glorified escrow holdback. But basically I say if you need something fixed, it costs $7,500 to be able to close that home, we can probably make that work. And then of course, general portfolio loans for special circumstances, special buyers, etc.
So do you not do holdbacks with conventional loans? Like let's say you're closing in the winter, the house needs a paint job, can you do a holdback for that?
So if it's a construction, we can do a holdback till the spring, but if it's
just a resale?
Generally you have like 2 weeks, sometimes we can push it 3 weeks to 4 weeks to get it done.
Great question. Go ahead, Nick.
Do you think you guys will ever offer non-QM loans? Like for broker through like Civic or something like that?
I've heard the chat, but
I'm not
sure.
I'm not sure on that.
But the thing is letting us know about products or whatnot that might help, then we bring that to our team, right, and push that up to see, hey, maybe there's a need and we can work on that. So I'm going to write a letter. We're going to write a letter about the Sandpoint market to our board and to our bosses, pushing them, encouraging them to help us get to raw land outside the city and find other products maybe that will fit a need. So let's talk and maybe we'll put some things down. That's great. Sweet. Becky, do you want to talk about those? Any other questions though on the products in general?
I think we'd like to hear more about portfolio loans or at least who you might go to in Willamette and maybe some stories on that and how does one go for those, and maybe you could talk a little bit more about what investors in the room should they be working with Willamette or not.
Honestly, my experience, and maybe you can touch on it, is in this area, we don't do a lot of portfolio loans. I feel like so Willamette Valley is from Oregon, so that's kind of where they focus on that stuff. I've presented a couple portfolio loans and have not got them through. But I think as we grow in Sandpoint, then that's more options. Like we used to not have construction loans or lot loans, and then the Coeur d'Alene Sandpoint office does so much of the volume that they're starting to open up more things in Idaho for us.
It's a great question, and I think along with what Becky's saying is that the company is in a sense not only being fiscally responsible, but by being greedy, right? Overexpanding its products so you can't do them well and do them right, and to read the market and whatnot. But for us, from our perspective, it's also about honesty, right? Can we actually do these? So we're going to tell you this is something we're really doing or not doing. We're going to be clear. But in regards to sort of the growth pattern, Coeur d'Alene has picked up its portfolio numbers. I mean, we've done more. And I think because we're obviously putting office here and growing, we want to hear maybe we need to offer more opportunities. And we'll share that with you guys that we're growing in that regard.
And I always present them to the bank too, so I think
Yeah.
the more they start seeing Sandpoint and the market, then maybe we'll get more options.
So I know you say you don't do a lot of them, but do you know why you don't do a lot of them? Like, do you guys have a clear idea of what your portfolio guidelines are? Or is it just a pretty vague, the bank will
I just feel
do
like,
what they want or not? Is it based off location? Is it based
I feel like honestly it's location a little bit. Like again, the base is in Oregon, they're spreading to Idaho. I think the more the Coeur d'Alene Sandpoint market does, the more they see us and are willing to work with us on things. But so I think those are opening up a little bit more. But
In other words, caution versus risk, right? And risk. But there's a willingness to grow. Plus, our team that does the portfolio is one team, right? And they handle the construction on the land as well, so that it's sort of kept under the same sort of platform and direction. It's not scattershot. It's very consistent. But next meeting, I'll definitely come back, and hopefully I've got maybe something back from corporate on down, right, where we might be going there.
I don't know if you guys are going to cover this, but
Yeah.
there's a handful of ADUs being added to properties, or additional dwelling units, smaller tiny homes, whatever you call it, or modular homes. Do you guys do any of those types of loans?
with ADUs, yes. Yep. Really, we'll do it as long as the appraiser can find comps, and there's plenty out there, so yes.
Does it apply to modular? I'm seeing properties with 5 or 10 acres with a modular home for $750,000.
Yeah.
This is,
It's a little bit trickier when there's a manufactured home and then an ADU, but we can do them, yes, as long as there's comparables out there.
Can you count the rental income if you're using both the ADU and the main unit?
Yes, yep, you can use up to 75%.
Of both?
Yep.
Which is nice, yeah. Awesome, great questions, you guys. And for the audience, obviously, for the investors, right, property investors who don't work with us, we're going to be on a journey here, a serious commitment to you, to not only get to know you, but find more ways and information that we can be useful and helpful to you guys. So, and maybe push our bank to grow and expand as well. And then lastly, we'll just kind of end on ways in which we can maybe help you or friends or clients or someone you know, because we don't just want to just close the loans. We want to help people get ready to buy, right? And to help them build their future financially. So some things that Becky does is make sure that do you want to? The qualifying?
So pre-qualifying, it's always good to have like if you have an investment property you're looking to sell or a flip you're looking to sell, to get the borrower pre-qualified. We have a simulator if we pull credit and maybe their scores are lower and need to be worked on. We have a simulator that can tell us like what they need to do, which is really important. I think one of my favorite credit stories is I had some clients sit in my office and we were pre-qualifying and I pulled credit and I could not get them qualified. And she had tears in her eyes, and I'm sorry, but I kind of put them on a plan of what they needed to do, and within 8 months they were able to buy their first home. So it's one of my favorite stories, just because I'm willing to work with people, take time, and just help them get qualified.
And one of the ways that the bank is, we're always looking for ways in which we're actually going to help clients. So one of them we just started, and we helped push Idaho to get here. Idaho passed a law this year that allows us to run the savings account program that we had already started in Oregon and Washington. And that is for first-time home buyers who actually live in Idaho and filed taxes in Idaho at least for 1 year. If they're truly a first-time home buyer, they can put up to $15,000 a year in this savings account at no cost and 2% APR interest. That's 4 times the amount, right, of your typical account. It's free money. It's not a ton, but it's free money. There's no fees, there's no penalties for pulling it out, and there's no taxes on the interest in Idaho. The only thing you could lose is, in a sense, is if you took out the cash and applied to something else, then you, if you're going to be honest, you're going to, with your CPA or file your taxes, you're going to pay the little bit of tax on the interest you made. That's it. There's no punishments, it's nothing punitive, it's totally positive. And so therefore that's a way for anyone in this room who knows someone who's young or hasn't bought a home, it helps them make that plan, right? Remember you guys mentioned, help that student make a plan. And so they literally can make the plan of saving money so that they can get towards that home in the future. It's tangible, right? It helps them make that roadmap. But at the end of the day, we are really excited, you guys, to get to know you, support you, work for you and your clients, if that's the scenario. And we're gonna have an open house on Wednesday, December 8th, 3 to 7. Come on by. We'll have some drinks, some appetizers, and exactly. I was hoping we could offer Willamette Pinot Noir, right? You know, Valley Pinot Noir. But I don't know if that'll pan out.
Yeah,
But
they'll let me get a money gun.
exactly.
Yeah, there
yes.
you go.
But thank you for having us again, and look forward to getting to know you guys.